Good evening. Hey, everyone. Today, we have a very special bottle to review. This is the Pride of Anderson County 2026 release. It's a single barrel bourbon, 9.5 years old, coming in at 56.52 ABV, about 112 proof. Very excited to crack this one open. Got a fresh crack. You know the drill. Method is pretty standard at this point. We're going to take it. We're going to decant it. I'm going to let it chill for a while. And we're going to pour it. We're going to try it. Excited to get into this very special bottle. Of course, you know it's a wild turkey distillate released by Rare Character. Okay, fresh crack, fresh pour. We're going to try this first glass, which is our fresh crack, our first pour. Then we're going to move into a fresh crack, fresh pour with 1 drop of water just to open up the whiskey a bit. We know that opening up the whiskey is very important. Still curious to try how this bottle shock pour might taste. Just got it in today, so it's going to take a little while for it to settle on out. But a lot of people tend to just go right into the bottle, so we'll try it that way first. Then we'll move into our method with just the water, and then this last pour we will let hang out in the glass for a while, and then we'll try some extra decanted, maybe for about 30 minutes or so, see how the pour progresses. Let's get right into it. No hesitation here. I'm really excited to try this. Been waiting a while to get my hands on one of these. Got it for retail, which is $250 plus shipping, so not too high of a markup on that. Found a lot of good deals lately on Rare Character, looking online. So here we go. Nose is a bit muted, as I expected with this fresh crack, fresh pour. These flavor compounds that are here in this fresh crack, they take a while to open up, so not too surprised here. Bit closed off, but still a very distinct turkey note, which for me is a tropical fruit. Tropical fruit note usually is dead giveaway for turkey. Getting some oak though, some strong oak turkey profile. For me, a classic wild turkey 101 is a lot of oak, a fortress of oak I call it, with that alligator char number 4. Always develops this beautiful oak profile, and right in the middle we usually get a lot of fruit. So I'm really excited because it's already smelling like that on a fresh crack. Pretty exciting. Yeah, total wild turkey profile here. It's awesome. Wow. So for the drinking experience, I'm getting a big note on the mid palate. That's where it shines the best for me on first sip. Mid palate is huge. It's got this beautiful fruit profile, a lot of oak. It's got a really peaking on the mid palate, right in the middle. This super, I would call it a candied cherry, dried cherry, like a dehydrated cherry. I would even call it almost a artificial cherry, kind of like your red starburst. A beautiful cherry note. The finish was very quick, which caught me a little by surprise because that cherry note on the mid palate was so delicious. We're gonna go ahead and finish this pour. We're gonna kind of just power through this first glass. Yeah, nose is still pretty closed off. Yeah, it's got a lot of acidity, which I call when some people call it effervescence. I think that's a little overly used. Acidity kind of describes the way that the mouth tingles. For me, when I'm drinking a pour, effervescence can be that, but just turned up a lot. A lot of fresh acidity, effervescence, big cherry note, almost like a Shirley Temple if you will, with the amount of also sweetness that is there. So there's big sweet uh, cherry notes coming off of it. The oak is present, not too crazy yet. I'm really excited to see how the oak profile develops. But right now we have our fruit, we have our sweetness, we have our mouthfeel, we have a lot to show with just this fresh crack. So I'm really excited to see how it develops. Let's go with this last pour, and then we'll do our water. Mm, wonderful. That oak profile is already starting to show up a bit, even with just having poured this and just recently cracked it or fresh cracked it. All right, that oak is already starting to show up, which is nice. So you know the drill. We're going to take just one drop of water. I usually just flick a little water in there. Usually just one drop. It's kind of hard with this straw. I should invest in a dropper, but when I'm not on camera, I'm sticking my finger in there and just putting a little drop there. That usually does a trick. All right. On the nose, one drop of water. It's still a bit closed off. However, getting a lot more of the fruit profile on that nose. Fruit profile is there. The oak note is there. Everything is a little bit more concentrated as far as the nose aromas go. Oh yeah. It's gone from closed off to aromatic, and it's gone from aromatic with a bit of fruit showing on the nose but being closed off to a lot of fruit, a lot of baking spice, and that oak. These oak notes are starting to show, which is really awesome. Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, that's really good. Really good. Yeah, the pour kind of with a little tiny bit of water, the pour almost seemed to be sewn together in terms of I'm getting a big fruit profile still, but now it's got that big sugar profile, and those are being tied together with these beautiful baking spices. So we're getting layers. And before on this fresh crack pour with no water or anything, we had the oak, we had the fruit, and we had the sugar. And they were distinct and they were very separate. Now it's been tied together with some layering of some beautiful, gentle baking spices, which is really nice on a wild turkey to have that cohesiveness, that tied togetherness, to be in unison, as opposed to being kind of broken up and segmented as far as the flavor profiles go. Beautiful. Excellent. Yeah. Starting to develop more of that oak profile, which is really nice. Beautiful. Wow. Yeah, now that it's been tied together, starting to show a bit more on the mouthfeel, starting to show off a little bit. We got some creaminess coming on to the mouthfeel. I call it creaminess, but really it's the texture. It's the kind of when you know, take a drink of coffee, a black coffee. As an analogy, we'll say black coffee. You drink black coffee, it's a bit thin, still very bold. When you put some milk in there, some heavy whipping cream, something like that, totally changes the way that you drink your coffee. It still is big and bold, but the texture is much different. That's kind of how I describe creaminess: is the texture, the way that you experience it is more layered, thicker, more. I think layered is the best way to describe that. It's really nice. Excellent. Wow. The finish is very long now. The finish is still going. I'm still getting this big, creamy, cherry, spicy um, note coming off of it. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is a wild turkey profile I really appreciate. I have a few iterations of the rare character wild turkey distillate, the MEL. I have a local pick, which is really good. Then I have a 10K, which is a 10-year expression of wild turkey, which didn't really hit the mark for me personally. I much preferred the MEL, but as far as the MEL, just from memory, I don't really remember it being this well put together with all of the complexity and how the complexity presents itself. I'm really impressed so far. I'm going to let it decant for maybe 15 more minutes, and then I'll come back and visit that. And then we'll do a little side by side with another NDP who has some really awesome turkey stuff. So, yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, so we have let this pour decant for 15-20 minutes. Let's see how it progressed. I'm already super impressed with this release. Pride of Anderson County did not fail to deliver for me. I loved it. And yeah, let's see how this beautiful whiskey developed just with a little bit of decanting. Already the nose is just bursting with baking spices and fruit. The oak profile is definitely showing itself with just being in the glass for 15-20 minutes. Excellent stuff. Oh, yeah. Wow. Mm. See, I love Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey is by far my favorite distillery, which is why I was so excited to get this bottle. When I was first getting into whiskey in 2019, 2020, Wild Turkey was already, a go to. 101 being probably the most um, available, delicious whiskey that I could get my hands on. I remember of mine would drink on a Zoom call or a Facebook Messenger video, and we would be drinking all these really nice pours. And then at the end of the night, we'd say, hey, let's break out the 101 and see how it holds up. And every time it would hold up really well. That's kind of how I called it my benchmark bourbon. So back then, we would only dream of getting single barrel proof offerings from Wild Turkey. Back then, the only barrel proof you could get was Rare Breed. Single barrel proofs was just something we could only dream about. Now we get our hands on so many different barrels from Wild Turkey, which is it's just amazing that we get to have whiskey like this these days. Um, yeah, and it is just so beautiful. It is just such a nice whiskey. Yeah, now, okay, from first crack to the fresh pour, if you judge the whiskey based on that alone, you would miss so much because now on this decanted pour, and it's only been sitting out for 20 minutes, but the spice profile, the spiciness is so beautiful, so layered. There's soft baking spices, there's a bit of white pepper just on top of that, there's sweet sugary spice, and then there's some heat, a little bit of white pepper, and it's just layered just ever so slightly on the palate, and it's a big profile. It's huge. Um, but at the same time gentle because the texture is so creamy and so smooth and so velvety. A lot of people were kind of poo-pooing this release, saying that it was the value wasn't there, but I don't know how anyone can say that without even trying the whiskey. Not all single barrels are created equal, and I'm a believer in that. And we would get, when looking through single barrels back in the day, you would get lucky and find one that was really good. But this skips a lot of the legwork. I'm not advocating for marking up barrels that are better than others, but we would value barrels better than others. So the best way to value it is to put a price on it. I paid $250 for this bottle plus tax, plus shipping. So to my door about 295 or so. Does it drink like a very special pour? It sure does. Could I maybe find a single barrel as good by just trying some of, other NDP's normal offerings of wild turkey uh, for that amount? I can't say that I can. This is very unique, and we'll do a little side by side here soon with one of the best single barrel wild turkeys that I've had from an NDP. And I can say that this is the either better than that or just, neck and neck with that. But I've already had maybe 8 or 9 single barrel wild turkey expressions from different NDPs, and none of them have been this good. So with that being said, I'll just finish off this pour. And yeah, what an amazing pour. Hats off to the guys over at Rare Character, Pablo, Pete, and Chad. You guys are absolutely killing it. This is a very special whiskey. Excited to drink the rest of this. That'll be it. Everybody hit the like button if you get a chance. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the review. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, Open Bottles, OPENDBOTTTLES. Yeah, interact with me, hit me up. Let me know. Let me know what you think about the price point. Let me know what you think about the wild turkey single barrels that you've gotten to try. Have any of them blown you away? Yeah, we are living in a time where we can really just enjoy the fruits of what the whiskey industry has become. It's truly amazing. All right, that's it. I'm out.